Hey, what is up, everybody? Ansel Linder back here with another episode of Bitcoin and Markets Fed Watch series. Dun, 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 Fed Watch. So we are here responding or reacting to the FOMC policy decision. Let me bring up that webpage right now. Share my screen. My computer is slow again today. I'm going to have to do something about that here. Okay. So it just dropped at 2 o'clock. We're at 2:03, running a little bit behind schedule, but let's go into this page right here. Press release, Federal Reserve issues FOMC statement. We have the boilerplate on the first couple paragraphs. We'll get back into that. But the third paragraph here is where the policy comes in. The committee seeks to achieve maximum employment and inflation at a rate of 2% over the longer run. In support of these goals, the committee decided to maintain the target range for the federal funds rate at 2.25% to 2.5%. The committee will continue to assess additional information and its implications for monetary policy in determining the extent of additional policy firming that may be appropriate to return inflation to 2% over time. The committee will take into account the cumulative tightening of monetary policy, the lags with which monetary policy affects economic activity and inflation and economic and financial developments. In addition, the committee will continue reducing its holdings of Treasury securities and agency debt and agency mortgage-backed securities, as described in its previous announcement plans. The committee is strongly committed to returning inflation to its 2% objective. Okay, blah, 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 blah. So they are maintaining rates. Very, very interesting here. That was what we had expected. I put out a post a couple hours ago now on the Bitcoin Magazine Pro Substack. I'm now going to be a contributing member over there. And part of that post that earlier today was talking about this meeting. What's the likelihood of this being a pause versus a hike? And looking forward into the future. So what I kind of wanted to do here is I'm going to look up this tool here. So share this tab. This is investing.com. And they have a Fed rate monitor tool. This is similar to the CME's Fed Watch tool, but a little bit different because it has more meetings out in the future. Okay. So they had it at 100%. 100% was going to be a pause. And that is what the market was pricing. So via the Fed funds futures, you can get an implied pricing in of what the market expects. And since the Fed does not disappoint the market at this point or surprise the market, we pretty much knew it was going to be a pause. And my flavor of macro, let me make sure I am not muted because I just got a sinking feeling in this. No, I'm all good. Okay, so my specific brand of macro here is that, why is the screen not sharing? Okay, there we go. That the Fed does not do anything mechanically, right? And the reason why they won't surprise the market or disappoint the market at this point is because they don't want to expose their impotence. You know, it's better to appear like you're too powerful and that you crashed the market, you broke the market, you did the wrong monetary policy, than to look impotent. And if they keep raising at the rates that they're doing and the 10-year continues to be held at the relative steady point, let me take a look at where the 10-year is right now, reacting to this drop. Stand by. Like I said, my computer is running slow. So here is the 10-year and up at 4.34. But remember, the policy range is 5.25% to 5.5%. How come this is at 4.34? If they raise again and the 10-year doesn't budge or the 10-year goes down or something like that, the market is disobeying the Fed, right? And they don't want the market to disobey the Fed. So they are going to just not surprised, not pull any tricks out of their hat or anything like that. They are just going to do what the market expects. And then what they use to affect what the market expects is their narrative, is their talking to the market. So let's go back to this investing.com. And they have this next one out here for November 1st of 2023. That's going to be the next FOMC decision. And they have a 75% chance that the pause continues, and a 24% chance that the Fed will raise by 25 basis points. So most likely they're going to pause. And as we get closer to this meeting, with the Fed governors that come out and make their statements, this press conference, multiple other press conferences or speeches of Powell, maybe even he might even be testifying in front of the Senate Banking Committee or whatever. And all of those comments are made to influence this right here, what is being priced in. So right now, the market thinks that it's going to stay paused. Let's go out to December and see what they think here. So again, this is our current. The blue is 5.25 to 5.5, and it's 63% out to December. Okay, how about January? The January FOMC meeting. Oh, it's still 63% in January, but look at this. They're pricing in the possibility of a cut in January. That's very interesting. Powell has a history with January. When he first came in and took over for Janet Yellen in 2019, or at the end of 2018, in 2019, January, he paused, which I consider a pivot. Any change in direction is a pivot. So the market is starting to price in the possibility of a rate cut in January of next year. Let's go to the March meeting. Okay, we're starting to get even a higher percentage, out to 14.9%, 15% by March, the March meeting, that the Fed will be cutting. Still 56% that they will maintain this current rate. All right, let's go to the May meeting. And we are at 41% that we maintain the current, and up to 35%. So over a third chance that we will be cutting, or the Fed will be cutting, by May of next year. All right, let's continue going down here. June, what do we have? Oh, man, there we go. The first month that it's most likely that we're going to have the first Fed cut is June, the end of Q2 in 2024. Very interesting. So what does that mean about the market? Well, that means that the market is probably going to be sliding and deteriorating at that time. Powell's going to sympathetically cut. He's not going to surprise the market. He's not going to cut in an attempt to prop up the market. No. If they cut in an attempt to prop up the market and it doesn't prop up the market, they lose confidence in the Fed. And that's what the Fed counts on. That's how they think monetary policy works, guys. They think monetary policy works psychologically, not mechanically. All right, let's keep going on these months. If you guys stick with me here. So in July, most likely is one cut. Second most likely is two cuts already in July of next year. That's what the market is pricing in. And the market knows a lot more than you or I know. Who are we to second guess the market? I mean, the market's not perfect. This isn't like gospel truth. This is going to happen. But this is the best prediction that we have of future policy path. In addition, this also matches the Fed's dot plot, by the way. And that was something that I wrote about on the Market Pro, on the Bitcoin Magazine Pro, was I compared the actual futures curve to the dot plots, and they happen to align. So now, forget what you think about the Fed, that they're evil or that they're incompetent. Their dot plots are matching the futures curve. That should be something. I mean, I think there's more economists employed at the Fed than the rest of the world combined. I could be wrong about that, but I mean, it's thousands of people. And yes, they all are slightly off in their thinking, but it's still this is one of the largest, most sophisticated markets in the world. This is huge, with people with skin in the game. Jerome Powell has skin in the game, like him or not. Think of him what you will, but he has skin in the game, reputationally at least. And even in his mind, what's at risk is the entire ability of the Fed to do their job at all. Because remember, they believe that their job is psychological. And if they lose confidence, the ability of the Fed to do their job that they think is necessary goes away. So this is an existential threat for Jerome Powell. It could even be feel like an existential threat to Jerome Powell's bosses, the Wall Street banks. And personally, reputationally, he has skin in the game. So like all of this stuff together, the Fed funds futures market and the dot plot from the Fed, that says a lot about what we should have as our base case. Our base case should not be recession by the end of the year or whatever. The base case should be following the market and people with skin in the game, the most economists out there. So there you go. Let's keep going on these. September, we get out to 20% that we have 3 cuts by September meeting. And then finally, let's go to the November meeting. And by the November meeting, we have 4.5 is 3 cuts and a 15% chance of 4 cuts all the way out to November. So, and what else is in November? The U.S. elections. I think that's an important kind of milestone. So we could be in a position that we are going into recession in Q4 next year, right when the U.S. elections are happening. It won't be official until later, until whoever wins gets into office. Then it will be, because recessions are always hindsight, official recessions, to be labeled a recession. So we could be, the next administration would be coming into office with the very first quarter of their presidency in recession. That's what this is kind of looking like. And at that point, I would expect the Fed to be cutting rates and everything. And anyway, on the Bitcoin Magazine Pro, I went into that in detail, talked about what that means for Bitcoin, the halving cycle, all of that stuff. So check that out. All right, let's go back to the FOMC statement. And once again, guys, 5.25% to 5.5%. They have maintained both their target range and QT. So that is going to do it for me today. Thank you guys for joining me. Check out bitcoinandmarkets.com. I put out a couple things this week already. One is I put out the podcast version of Does the Fed Really Print Money? That's episode 372. I also put out predictions for the 2024 cycle, or for 2024 and the rest of the cycle, if there is going to be part of the cycle in 2025. That's there for the professional tier members on bitcoinandmarkets.com. What else? Of course, the fundamentals report you can find there. You can find my writings on the demographic collapse. I started writing another couple pieces this morning that are going to be about currency versus money, those definitions, and about evolution and emergence. So some people think that money is an emergent phenomenon, but we already have money. So how does something emerge if it's already in existence, right? It's actually evolving. And so how should we think about Bitcoin as an evolution instead of an emergence of money? I don't think that is very clear to people right now. And I wanted to get my thoughts clear on that and write an article. So that's coming up. And guys, remember, paid members on bitcoinandmarkets.com, they get those articles first for a few days before they go public. And also you can partake in the monthly, let's find this, show more. Come on, website. I have a monthly price prediction not competition, but it's a, something's going on here. Okay, so let me scroll down here. So this is the price forecast competition. And what you do is you select or forecast the price at the end of the month. At the close of the monthly candle, the person closest at the end gets $20 in sats over the Lightning Network. So check that out. It's something fun and an extra perk for paid members that want to support me for $5 a month over on bitcoinmarkets.com. I appreciate everyone who subscribes. Okay, that's going to do it for today, guys. Thank you so much. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.